Welcome back to Paul Brown Stadium. Andrew Catalon, Steve Tasker with you, and it is a gorgeous October day in Cincinnati. Sunny skies, 13 miles per hour is the wind. The temperature in the mid-50s. On the Buffalo sideline, Chan Gailey in his second season as Bills head coach. His offense has scored 113 points, the most in franchise history over a three-game stretch. And for the Bengals, ninth year for Marvin Lewis, the longest tenured coach in Bengals history, breaking the record of 8 shared by Paul Brown and Sam Wyche. The Bengals won the toss and they deferred, so Buffalo will have the ball first. Mike Nugent will be kicking to his former Jets teammate Brad Smith. We're seeing more touchbacks this year because of the new kickoff rule. They kick from the 35-yard line now. In fact, the Bills only have 2 kick returns in their first 3 games, the fewest of any team in the NFL.
Yeah, I think the game is going to continue to evolve, Andrew. This kickoff rule isn't the last change we'll see. I'm sure we'll see more in the years to come.
Nugent boots it away, and we are underway at Paul Brown Stadium. Smith out of his own end zone. Running right at the 10-yard line, gets to the 15 and pushed out at the 18-yard line by Jennings. The Bills offense takes the field, led by quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick. The Harvard grad is off to a sensational start. 9 touchdown passes, is tied for second in the NFL. He's getting rid of the ball quickly and has only been sacked once.
Yeah, even when he drops back and has to hang on to the football a little bit, his offensive line has played extremely well. In fact, better than expected in front of him. Sacks have not been an issue up to this point, but they have not faced this defense yet.
And the Bills come out with 4 wide receivers. Nelson goes in motion. Jackson is the tailback. Fitzpatrick will throw. Has Donald Jones at the 29-yard line, tackled immediately by Chris Crocker. On the Bills' offensive line, Chad Reinhardt gets the start at right guard for the injured Craig Urbick. Backs and receivers, Stevie Johnson is Fitzpatrick's favorite target, and he has scored a touchdown in each of the first 3 games. 2nd and 5 from the 24-yard line for Buffalo. Fitzpatrick in the shotgun. Has some time, throws to Jackson. Caught at the 32-yard line, and that's good for a Buffalo first down. For the Bengals defensively, Robert Gathers returns to the starting lineup after missing the last 2 games with a shoulder injury. Ray Maualuga moved to middle linebacker this year, and he leads the front 7 in tackles so far. And Nate Clements playing against his former team for the 2nd straight week. San Fran last Sunday, and he was Buffalo's first-round pick in 2001. 1st and 10 for Buffalo. Jackson trying the right side. And Jackson pushes across the 35-yard line.
Buffalo coming out with 1 back in the backfield, Fred Jackson. They've gone empty already early in this game. It's obvious they want to keep the Bengals defense spread as thinly as possible across the field and let guys like Freddie Jackson, both in the pass receiving and in the running game, pick his spot. You see there, only player in the league with 300 rushing yards and 100 receiving yards. He's having a great year.
3rd in the NFL in total scrimmage yards. 2nd and 7 for Buffalo. Fitzpatrick throws right, and it's incomplete, out of bounds.
Yeah, you knew it was going to happen. They had too much success early on with the throwing game. The pressure's going to come off the corner with Crocker coming over against Demetrius Bell as he releases to get out and pick him up, but the pressure comes from inside where Michael Johnson comes in and gets the hit on Fitzpatrick.
3rd down and 7. Buffalo is 41% on 3rd downs this season. And the crowd making some noise at Paul Brown Stadium. 4 receivers for the Bills. Fitzpatrick right, incomplete. Intended for Stevie Johnson. And there was more pressure up front by the Cincinnati defense.
Yeah, and it's the pressure is going to be the key today. You'll see Crocker comes again off. Nate Clemens comes in. Crocker gets the shot on Fitzpatrick, but Fitzpatrick is going to have to get rid of the football. Stevie Johnson, as he tries to come out of that, gets his shoulder tugged by Kelly Jennings. He wanted a penalty, but it's not going to happen.
On 4th and 7, Brian Moorman comes in to punt. Brandon Tate makes the catch at the 20. Sidesteps a couple of tacklers and then dragged down at the 25-yard line. Cincinnati will come on offense when we come back. Just underway in Cincinnati. Welcome back to Cincinnati, and Ryan Fitzpatrick felt the pressure on that opening drive for the Bills. The Bengals do such a good job of rotating defensive linemen. It allows them to apply pressure throughout the game, and they did it early against Fitzpatrick. First down and 10 for Cincinnati on the 26-yard line. Dalton will throw on first down, and it's incomplete, intended for the tight end, Jermaine Gresham. The rookie Andy Dalton did not turn the ball over in his first 2 games, but he threw 2 fourth-quarter interceptions in the loss to San Francisco last week.
Shows a lot of poise for a young quarterback. You watched them play throughout this season. Before last week, when those 2 fourth-quarter interceptions happened, they were trying to come back. A little bit of desperation. He is extremely poised for a young quarterback. Maybe the most poised quarterback I've seen.
They swing it out to Andrew Hawkins, playing in his first NFL game, and he breaks some tackles. A Cincinnati first down and more. Across midfield, his first NFL catch. A 5'7" rookie from Toledo, the shortest player on the team.
Yeah, rookie out of Toledo. You can see why they hired him, signed him. He's going to catch this, and he's just so fast and moves so well laterally and has such a burst. He's hard to tackle. What a great job he does. First touch as a Bengal, gets a nice pickup for Cincinnati.
Started the year on the practice squad, promoted after Jordan Shipley got hurt. Cedric Benson on the carry, but there is a penalty marker on the play. That was a 25-yard gain by Hawkins. Gene Steratore, our official today.
Illegal formation. Offense. Number 18 was on the line of scrimmage, recovering number 84. The penalty is declined. Second down.
Well, A.J. Green had 2 false start penalties last week and an early penalty here today. A change up front for the Bengals after starting the first 2 games at right guard. Rookie Clint Bowling will come off the bench in favor of Mike McGlynn. And keep an eye on number 18, A.J. Green. He leads all rookies with 15 catches in his first 3 games. Second down and 12 after they decline the penalty. Dalton has plenty of time. Now steps up. He's chased. Gets away. Dalton using his feet and runs out of bounds at the 45-yard line. The Buffalo Bills play a 3-4 defense. Marcel Darius, the 3rd overall pick in the draft, starts up front. Nick Barnett, in his first year with the Bills after coming over from Green Bay, he leads the team in tackles so far. And Drayton Florence starts at corner again. Terrence McGee injured his hamstring on the first play of the season and is out at least another week.
And there you see George Edwards, defensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills, trying to manufacture some pressure on the young quarterback.
The 6-yard gain makes it 3rd and 6 for Cincinnati. Dalton throws, and it's dropped by Andre Caldwell. Well, the Bengals have been miserable on 3rd downs this year, just 23%. That's the worst percentage in the NFL, and they fail to convert their first 3rd down today.
Well, Caldwell moving up to the lineup because of the injury to Shipley. Caldwell, a guy who is pretty gifted and usually with good hands. That's got to be caught, no question. It's a good enough throw. That would have been a 3rd down conversion, but was not to be.
Kevin Huber to punt it away for the Bengals. C.J. Spiller's back deep. Roscoe Parrish went to IR, and Spiller takes over the punt returning duties. And it is down at the 5-yard line by Morgan Trent. So Buffalo will start deep in its own end when we come back. .10:32 to go in the first quarter. No score between Buffalo and Cincinnati. This is the Bills' second offensive possession. They start deep in their own territory. 1st and 10 from the 6-yard line. And they give it to Fred Jackson. And the Bengals stack them up. Ryan Fitzpatrick, of course, the former Cincinnati Bengal. He played 2 seasons in Cincinnati, 2007, 2008. He appeared in 14 games, starting 12 of them. He went 4-7-1 as a starter, won his final 3 games. And he told us yesterday that 2008 was the most important year of his career. Carson Palmer was injured. Fitzpatrick was the guy getting the first team reps in practice and becoming the starter. He said that really set him off for his future, and he's thriving here with Buffalo as they go back to Jackson on 2nd down.
Yeah, we spoke to Marvin Lewis as well about Fitzpatrick and his time here in Cincinnati, and he said, you know, Ryan was a good quarterback, but this team was Carson Palmer's team at the time, and Fitzpatrick took over for Palmer after an injury, and they just couldn't change enough of the offense to accommodate Fitzpatrick in the short time that he had to do that. Of course, they had 12 games, but that was after the training camp was already finished and all of that. So really, you know, they had to run a different type of offense for Fitzpatrick to be as successful as they needed to be, although the longer he played, the better they got.
3rd and 4 for the Bills. 5 receivers set for Fitzpatrick. He throws right again, and the pass is incomplete. He was looking for Fred Jackson. Good coverage on the play. Thomas Howard was chasing him every step of the way, and once again, the Bills are forced to punt.
And Ryan Fitzpatrick had time to throw this football, and he will lay it out there. You see, he's got Freddie Jackson working against the linebacker, Thomas Howard, and did have some separation, and the throw needed to be high and outside. Fitzpatrick putting not quite enough air under that ball.
The 2-time Pro Bowler Mormon in his own end zone boots it away. Tate at his 40, and he's got some room to take this one. At the 45, across midfield, and tackled right there before he could get any further. 48-yard punt, 10-yard return for Tate, and Andy Dalton comes back on the field when we come back. You can join the NFL's A Crucial Catch campaign in the fight against breast cancer. Visit NFL.com/auction to bid on authentic, game-worn NFL Pink products. All proceeds benefit the American Cancer Society. And Steve and I proud to wear the pink ribbon today as well.
You'll see players pink shoes, pink gloves, pink wristbands you saw there on the bench. Pink hats underneath their helmets. And it's splattered all around the stadium today as well.
Bengals have controlled field possession thus far. They have it 1st and 10 at the 50. Dalton throws high for Gresham, incomplete. Let's go to New York and update with JB, Detroit, and Dallas.
All right, Andrew, Cowboys didn't score a touchdown on its win last week over Washington.
But they waste no time this week, JB. 25-yard Dez Bryant from Tony Romo as the Cowboys are out early, 7-0.
All right, let's take it back to Andrew Catalon and Steve Tasker.
Well, you got to tip your hat to Tony Romo. It's tough to play with sore ribs. It's going to be like luggage. He'll carry that around with him the entire season. Lions,
Bills, and Packers, the 3 unbeatens in the NFL. 2nd down and 10 from the 50. Dalton throwing deep for A.J. Green, and he overthrows him. He got a little bit of separation from McKelvin, but the pass was too deep.
See A.J. Green, and believe me, when you watch film on the Bengals, this is a guy that jumps out at you. He's got great speed. You can see there, much taller than McKelvin. 1st-round draft pick out of Georgia. He got a little pressure. I think he got as much on that throw as he wanted because he overthrew it by 5 yards, but no question, Dalton's standing in the pocket well enough, but he's got to deliver that ball on target when he's got a receiver that open.
Bengals already 0 for 1 on 3rd down. They have another one here, 3rd and 10. Dalton flushed, running right. He's going to keep it, and he loses 3 yards on the play. Good job defensively by the Buffalo Bills. chased out by Kelvin Shepard.
Well, the Bills didn't get a sack. Well, actually, they probably will get credit for a sack because it'll be a loss on the play on a pass attempt. Merriman chased Dalton out of bounds, but the coverage in the back end was extremely good. They got man coverage all over the field, and Merriman ends up chasing Dalton to the sidelines, and that counts as a sack because it was a loss on the play, and they were attempting to pass even though the quarterback wasn't tackled in the pocket.
Spiller back deep. The Bengals are now 2 for 23 over the last 3 games in third downs. Spiller calls for a fair catch at the 14-yard line.
Keep it, timeout. Keep it.
39-yard punt. The Buffalo defense holds, and Ryan Fitzpatrick is coming back on the field in Cincinnati.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Allstate. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Scoreless in the first quarter. First down and 10 for the Bills at the 14-yard line. Fitzpatrick hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Nearly intercepted by Reggie Nelson.
Plenty of time for him to find Donald Jones. He had to throw that behind him. The pressure finally getting to Fitzpatrick, although this is plenty of work, good work by the offensive line. You see there off the corner, I believe
Carlos Dunlap hit him, the second-year player out of Florida. He had 9.5 sacks last year. Just a half sack behind Ndamukong Suh for the NFL rookie lead.
He had 8 sacks in the last 6 games of the season last year, so he really came on.
Second down and 10. Fitzpatrick goes back to the air, and Chandler dives to make a catch at the 20-yard line. 6-yard gain on the play. Another third down coming for the Bills.
Yeah, the Bengals doing an excellent job in coverage right now against Buffalo, playing man-to-man coverage and mixing in some zone as well. But the front 4 of the Bengals is really forcing Fitzpatrick to get rid of that football on time. You see there Frosty Rucker getting a shot on Fitzpatrick just after the ball was gone.
Each team 0 for 2 on third down so far. This is a 3rd and 4 for the Bills. Fitzpatrick looking left this time, and it's incomplete. Nearly caught on the sideline, but Brad Smith couldn't hold on as he came down.
Now, these are the kind of plays that Buffalo doesn't make in the first half, but has been making in the second half of games. You see there, Brad Smith almost pulls that in right off the top of the helmet of Nate Clemens, and it just gets away from him. Neither team able to convert a third down here in the early going.
Clemens played 6 seasons for the Bills, made the Pro Bowl in 2004. Tate comes up on this short punt by Mormon at the 50. Tate outside and dragged down at the 45 by Chandler. You can manage all of your CBS Sports fantasy football teams on your mobile device. Download the free app today at cbssports.com/mobile. 40-yard punt for Mormon. Tate brought it back 13 yards, and once again, Cincinnati continues to control field position in this game.
Brian Mormon struggling to get the ball out. He has got an enormous leg and has not hit a punt, I think, the way he's wanted to yet in this game. Field position's huge.
Bernard Scott is the running back, and he takes the handoff left side. And the Bills are there. Barnett makes the tackle. Let's go back to New York and update with JB, the Steelers and Texans.
Andrew Houston looking to make a statement against the Steelers.
When you can run the ball, Arian Foster back in the lineup, Oren Daniels wide open, 1-yard touchdown. The Texans are out early, 7-0 over the Steelers.
Andrew and Steve, 19 plays, 95 yards, nearly 11 minutes on that drive. Andrew and Steve.
Wow, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is old.
Both teams 2-1 in that matchup. Second down and 8. Inside handoff to Scott, and he finds some room. Down to the 38-yard line, very close to a first down, might be just short. Nick Barnett on the stop.
And this is just a little delay up inside. Watch the offensive line step back to pass protect and then let the defenders run right past Scott as he slips up into the gap. You see there Alex Carrington being allowed to rush up the field past the running back. And the handoff comes late in the play, so the pass rushers think they're going to get to the quarterback when in actuality the running back's got the ball.
3rd down and 1. It was just short. Benson back in the game, and he's got 1st down and more. Finally tackled by Jarris Byrd at the 29-yard line, but the Bengals move the chains.
And finally get that 3rd down conversion. Benson right off the left side of the offensive line. Nothing really fancy. It's going to come right in here as these guys come right through. Benson's going to follow the lead block of the fullback. Barnett comes up, takes the fullback on, can't get off the block in time to stop the short gain and the pickup, or the short pickup on 3rd down for the nice gain.
Bernard Scott back in at running back. Movement on the line, and a penalty marker comes in.
This will probably go against Buffalo. They jumped into the neutral zone, which enticed the Bengals to jump early on the snap.
Chan Gailey in his 2nd season with the Bills has a great relationship with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Those two were on the same page. They have incredible chemistry, and as Chan Gailey told us yesterday, they trust each other, and that's what's made this Buffalo offense so tough to stop so far.
Well, one of the reasons the officials...
Encroachment. Defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Well, it's on Kyle Williams. The reason that took so long to judge was because everybody jumped, not just the Bills, but also the Bengals. Right in here, and you see it's obvious. Now it's legal for the Bills to jump into that area if they get back without making contact with the offensive player, but if they force the offensive player to flinch, it is a penalty on the defense.
1st and 5 after the penalty. They fake it to Scott. Dalton wants to throw back to Scott on the far sideline. He's tackled immediately by Nick Barnett. That play took a while to develop, and Barnett was right there to make the tackle.
Well, they're starting to move Dalton around. You see on the naked bootleg, he'll fake the play fake to Scott and then come out by himself. Actually, he does have a personal protector, but he has plenty of time to scan the entire field and then throws the football back the direction he came from. Lots of time it takes to go back that far.
4-yard gain, 2nd and 1. Bernard Scott has the 1st down. Bernard Scott only had 2 carries last week against the 49ers. He's already got 3 today.
Once again, you know, as this game progresses, you see that the Bengals defense has really set their offense up to be successful. You see Cedric Benson there has carried the ball a few times, but field position has been crucial. The Bills haven't been able to make 1st downs and move the ball down the field. They haven't been able to flip the field with the punt team, and the Bengals have gotten good punt returns to set their offense up. It all works hand in hand.
1st and 10. Bernard Scott again to the 15 as Cincinnati continues to pound away the Buffalo defense. Andre Davis with the tackle.
Scott continuing to stay in the game. Coming into this game, he only had 8 rushes for 23 yards on the season. He hasn't played that much. Obviously, a gifted running back. You play behind Cedric Benson, you can be pretty good and still not get much playing time.
Jay Gruden in his 1st year as the Bengals offensive coordinator as Benson checks back in the game. 2nd down and 6 for Cincinnati. No score in the 1st quarter. It is Benson trying to get outside, and he can't. Tackled by George Wilson.
This brings up another 3rd down for the Bengals. They've continued to move this football almost exclusively through the ground, although they did have the nice little bootleg throwback for a nice 8-yard gain. But this has been a run-only or predominantly run drive down deep into Bills territory. This Bills team, last in the league a year ago at stopping the run, has been much better this year. But the Bengals, with a big offensive line, are making big progress in the run game today.
3rd and 5. Brian Leonard is next to Dalton. Dalton pump fakes now to the end zone to Green, and he can't hold on. Incomplete.
Well, it was open for a moment. McKelvin was late getting over there, but Dalton overthrew that out of bounds. He had his man, but he had to put so much air under it. You'll see here, A.J. Green can't get it. There's no way he was going to come down inbounds with that play.
The Bengals talked a lot this week about a killer instinct at practice, finishing drives, going for the touchdowns instead of settling for field goals. They went for it that time to Green, but the pass was incomplete, and now Mike Nugent to try to kick a field goal, a 31-yarder. He's 7 for 7 this season. And now he's 8 for 8. The Bengals are on the board first. 2:02 to go in the first quarter. And Cincinnati jumps out to an early 3-0 lead. $3-0 Bengals on top of the Bills after the field goal by Mike Nugent. A 9-play drive took up more than 5 minutes, but it only brings 3 points. And once again, the Bills find themselves trailing in a game in the first half. Brad Smith back deep. Nugent kicks it away. And Smith is going to take this one out to the 20. Tonight on CBS, the race has just begun with former NFL player Marcus Pollard competing, plus Survivor winners Ethan and Jenna. The Amazing Race, new episode tonight, only CBS.
So the Bills come out. The thing that you've noticed about the Bills, if you've been watching them through the season, is they've really been good at making adjustments on the fly during games. That's why they've been able to come back from those huge deficits in the last couple of weeks. They've been able to get a handle on what a defense has been doing to them and have an answer for it. We'll see if they can do it earlier this week than they've been able to in the last few weeks.
3 possessions, 3 punts, and 3 and out twice. Jackson gets past the line of scrimmage. Pickup of 3 on the play. Reggie Nelson makes the tackle. Let's go back to New York, San Francisco, and Philadelphia. An update with JB.
Atoning for a pick thrown earlier, Michael Vick, Houdini in the pocket.
JB, Mike Vick might be the only quarterback in the history in the.
And you know what? We will get that back to him in 1 second. Let's get back to Andrew and Steve.
2nd down and 7. Minute and a half to go in the first quarter. Empty backfield for the Bills. And that pass is caught by Naaman Roosevelt. At the 40, and he's still going across midfield. Off the deflection, Roosevelt pushes the Bills into Cincinnati territory. 28-yard gain.
Well, you'll see after this is after the catch. Roosevelt was standing at the sideline. Wilson and Crocker were making playing defense, and they just collapsed on the play to double team the receiver and deflected the ball out to Naaman Roosevelt.
Buffalo native, played at the University of Buffalo, signed to the practice squad, and then promoted after Roscoe Parrish went on IR. 1st and 10. Stevie Johnson, and he can't get away. Leon Hall makes the stop.
Yeah, Leon Hall, we mentioned in the open that you just don't see very many broken tackles by this Cincinnati defense. They're very good, and of course Leon Hall, 1st-round draft pick in 07. He's played in all 68 games of his career, 60 starts. He's been a stalwart on that defense since the day he arrived, and he still is.
The Bills do not have to run a play right here. The quarter will run out, but they elect to play. Fitzpatrick throwing deep along the right side, and it's incomplete. Donald Jones came back on the ball, but he could not make the catch. Nate Clements on the coverage. That's the end of the first quarter with the score. Cincinnati 3, Buffalo 0. We'll return to Cincinnati after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the second quarter at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. The Bengals have a 3-0 lead on the Buffalo Bills.
It's the first time the Bills have gotten the ball into Cincinnati territory today, starting to get a little bit more headway, helped greatly by a deflected completion to Naaman Roosevelt.
3rd down and 10 for Buffalo at the 48-yard line of Cincinnati. Empty backfield. Fitzpatrick with a screen to Brad Smith. He's got some room up the middle. A 1st down and more. Brad Smith to the 31-yard line of Cincinnati, tackled by Crocker.
And this is one of the strengths of the Bills' offense as they go no huddle here, is Chan Gailey's ability to call a play that will counteract what the defense is doing. They're getting such pressure. A little screen pass in the middle is the perfect antidote.
Handoff after the no huddle, and not much doing that time. As once again, that Cincinnati front four has done a wonderful job today. Domata Peko getting in the backfield that time.
We're staying with the no huddle. I think one thing that you have to know about a no huddle, it is not a run-oriented attack. If you're going to go no huddle, I think you throw the football more than you run it.
Saw the defensive coordinator of the Bengals, Mike Zimmer, 2nd down and 11. Fitzpatrick has it caught again. That's Brad Smith. And Steve, the Bills haven't used Brad Smith that much so far in the first 3 games, especially as a wide receiver, but he's got a couple of catches on this drive for Buffalo.
Well, absolutely, and I think that's one of the things that the Bills need to do is spread the defense and go deeper into their receiving core than the Bengals can go in their coverage skills in the secondary. You've got to spread them so thin and get the matchup you want, and here they're starting to do that with Brad Smith.
3rd down and 3. Fitzpatrick back to Smith, and Crocker was right there.
Yeah, that was well covered by Cincinnati, and you could tell when Fitzpatrick let that ball go, his heart wasn't in it. He was trying to get the ball once again to Brad Smith. Obviously, they like their matchup with Smith. Big guy. He's got great hands and leaping ability, but working against the safety right there, and a bad angle throw towards the corner away from the quarterback. Hard to fit that in.
Ryan Lindell is the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week after his game winner against the Patriots. This is from 43 yards away, and Lindell is good. He's now 6 for 7 on the season, and we are now tied up 3-3 Bills and Bengals.
There you see Chan Gailey, head coach, and the play caller talking to Ryan Fitzpatrick. And you see as they talk there, both those guys will. You see Ryan Fitzpatrick sitting there listening, but watch, Ryan Fitzpatrick also has something to say. He'll turn and say some things to Chan Gailey as well. I mean, it's a conversation. It's not just a coach talking to his player. Those two guys have a really good relationship, and it's blossomed here, particularly in the early going of this season. But it started to flourish last year in the second half of that season.
Lindell kicks it to Tate deep in the end zone, and Tate will take a knee, and the Bengals will start at the 20-yard line. Well, today's game is a part of the NFL's A Crucial Catch campaign. The main goal is to raise awareness about the importance of annual cancer screenings, especially in women over 40. At NFL.com/auction, fans can bid on authentic, game-worn pink products to benefit the American Cancer Society. Last year, the NFL raised over $1 million for the cause. First and 10 for Cincinnati at the 20. Benson is the running back. It's an end around, and they lose the football. That's A.J. Green. He gets it right back and runs out at the 25-yard line. Let's go back to New York. The 49ers and Eagles. JB.
Andrew and Steve, we wanted to show you this Michael Vick play. Shannon.
If Barry Sanders played quarterback, this is what he would look like. Out of 2 tackles, up top, Clay Harbor, 16 yards, 7-3, Philly.
Wow, finally we got it in. Andrew and Steve.
I guess Vic's hand is doing okay. How about that?
That was worth the wait, too. That was a great play.
The other hand, but still, he is so quick back there. As Benson is tripped up. Kyle Williams who's right there.
When you look, Kyle Williams just exploded into the backfield on this play, along with Marcel Darius. Kyle Williams, a Pro Bowl defensive tackle last year. Right here, look at how he just blows Nate Livings right back into the backfield and explodes that play before it can get going. That guy has got a fast motor, and he is really, really a dominant player.
2-yard loss. It's 3rd and 6. Brian Leonard in the backfield next to Dalton. Dalton feeling the pressure, and he's sacked by Kelsey, and the ball is loose. The ball is loose. It's scooped up by the Bills, and Brian Scott scores a touchdown.
What a heads-up play. Dalton got crushed in the pocket. It all collapsed at once. He had no chance to get rid of that football. It came out, and nobody saw it except the secondary. Watch as Merriman, Darius, and Kelsey all converge. The ball is loose. Nobody sees it except Brian Scott, who dives in. And I can't tell you how difficult it is to scoop that up so fast and come up with good control. The ball pops out, no question. It's a fumble. Now, he might be called down there. If Living's got a hand on Scott, the ball will be dead right where he recovered it. But he did the right thing in rolling over and trying to get there. They're going to review this as they do all scoring plays, but hard to imagine a play going any better for the Buffalo Bills.
So they will review this scoring play as they do with all scoring plays. We'll step aside and come back with the verdict right after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. DirecTV. This season, NFL Sunday Ticket is included when you switch. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
One of the things they're looking at is the tuck rule, and we'll see if
After review, it has been determined that the quarterback's arm was moving forward, which is a tuck. The ruling is an incomplete forward pass. It will be Cincinnati's ball, 4th down and 6 yards to go. On the 24-yard line, the ball will be placed on the Cincinnati hash mark. And the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 12 minutes and 18 seconds. 12:18 on the game clock.
And it's the right call. You see there, he pulls it back, and when the ball comes out after that, if you remember all the way back to when the tuck rule became such an issue with the Patriots-Raiders playoff game years ago in the snow, that's the exact right call. They don't want cheap fumbles in the pocket, and when he tried to pull the ball back in, and it came loose, even with the contact, it was an incomplete pass, and it gives the Cincinnati Bengals the opportunity to punt the football away and negates the touchdown.
Raiders fans cringing after seeing that, bringing up memories of the game against the Patriots in the playoffs. It is 4th and 6, and Spiller's back deep for Buffalo. Huber kicks it away. And Spiller with a fair catch at the 35-yard line. Well, let's take a look at that Tom Brady play. It appeared to be over when the Raiders' Charles Woodson caused Brady to lose the ball. As Oakland recovered with 1:43 left, ahead 13-10. However, after they reviewed it, Brady appeared to begin to tuck the ball and then fumble. The play was ruled an incomplete pass, keeping the Patriots' drive alive, and then the Pats went on to win 16-13 in overtime and advance to the AFC Championship game.
And as you see there, it's almost identical to the arm motion Brady had so many years ago. Dalton trying to pull the ball back into his body, and it got away from him, and it's the right call.
3-3 is the score. 12-11 to go in the first half. Fitzpatrick rolls right and dumps it to Fred Jackson, who runs out of bounds at the 38-yard line.
Bengals secondary doing an outstanding job on deep passes, and we spoke to Marvin Lewis, and he told us they have been playing really good defense like you and I have been saying. I mean, they've been playing good defense, but every game it seems as though they need to pull back. And I wish they had 3 or 4 plays that they could have a do-over. And they're giving up enormous plays down the field, only on 1 or 2 plays a game, but that's been the difference in their losses.
Third in the NFL in total defense. Only Tennessee and Pittsburgh have better numbers. 2nd and 8. Fitzpatrick finds the tight end Chandler, who's had just an incredible start to this season. Only had 1 career catch prior to this year, and then he had 5 grabs in the first game. He's already got 4 touchdowns. It's his first touchdown since his senior year at Iowa in 2006.
Now, you remember how to score touchdowns. Sometimes you can't remember other stuff, but the touchdowns you remember.
3rd and 6. Buffalo is 1 for 5 today on 3rd downs. Fitzpatrick guns it to Donald Jones. It was too high. Incomplete, and Buffalo will be forced to punt.
You'll watch. Just lets him go into the zone, back deep. Jennings lets him go to the safety. Jones, the ball's overthrown out of bounds. Fitzpatrick couldn't fit it into the gap between the 2 players playing zone coverage, and it turned into an incompletion. Hard pass to fit in down the sidelines.
So this Buffalo offense that leads the league in points per game has been held in check so far by the Cincinnati D. Tate catches it at the 9. Spins away from 1, but then dropped at the 15-yard line by Ruvel Martin. The tuck rule wipes the points off the board. It's 3-3 in Cincinnati. Cincinnati trying to beat Buffalo for the first time since the 1988 AFC Championship game. The Bills have won 10 straight, the longest current streak in the NFL. And Steve, you know something about that 88 championship game.
I know it makes me bitter.
Steve on the losing end as Benson breaks loose. 9-yard gain for Cedric Benson. Dwan Edwards on the stop.
And that's how the Bengals are going to get over their 3rd down woes, is getting a nice 8.5-yard, 9-yard run on 1st down from Cedric Benson. Well blocked up front. Nate Livings and Andrew Whitworth on the left side of the Cincinnati line, clearing the way for Benson.
2nd and 1 for Cincinnati.
Strike. Hey, yeah, you got 5-4. You can fit down 50.
They go back to Benson. And a quick update in New York, Carolina, and Chicago, JB.
Andrew and Steve, here's an understatement. Devin Hester's pretty good.
When they punted this ball, JB, Devin Hester and Eric Metcalf Jr. were tied for the most punt returns in NFL history. They're not tied anymore, JB. 69-yard punt return, Devin Hester. You are the greatest return man in NFL history. Yes, I said it. 24-10, the Bears.
Nothing wrong with a little exuberance there. Back to Andrew and Steve.
Somersaults into the end zone. Devin Hester pumped up in Chicago. Dalton to throw. And he's got fellow rookie A.J. Green for a Cincinnati 1st down.
Yeah, A.J. Green convinced Leotis McKelvin that he was going to go deep. Watch as he releases down the field. McKelvin turns to look back at the quarterback and doesn't realize Green has stopped. And that's not the way you want to cover A.J. Green. You've got to keep your eyes on him. Otherwise, Dalton will throw the back shoulder throw, or they'll do the double move, and that's how you get open.
1st and 10, less than 9 minutes to go in the first half, and Andy Dalton has to use a timeout. That's Cincinnati's first timeout. 3-3 in the 2nd quarter. Welcome back to Cincinnati. Gorgeous October day. Temperatures in the mid-50s and plenty of sunshine. 1st and 10 for the Bengals on their own 37-yard line. We are tied at 3 in the 2nd quarter.
Watch the pitch. Yeah, orange.
Following the timeout, Dalton looks to throw. He's got a man over the middle. And it's complete to Andre Caldwell. He dropped one in the first quarter, but Caldwell makes the catch there. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Marcel Darius, the third overall pick in the NFL draft. The highest pick in team history since Bruce Smith was #1 in 1985. And Benson slowed there.
Andre Davis able to step up and make that tackle for no gain. Brings up a 3rd and short. Bengals doing an outstanding job on 1st and 2nd down, getting themselves into 3rd and manageable situations. Even with that loss, with the completion to Caldwell, they're 3rd and 1 again. That has been a difference maker for them. And this is a team that's used to being in tight games. Last week at halftime, it was 3-0 against San Francisco. They are used to playing in very close football games, are the Bengals.
3rd down and 1 for Cincinnati. Benson pushes forward.
I think he might have that. That's going to be very close. It's going to depend on the spot.
And the Bengals have it. Well, Steve, you hit on it with these 3rd downs in Cincinnati. They are struggling so much on 3rd downs, but when Marvin Lewis talked about it this week, he said we just have to be more efficient on 1st and 2nd downs.
Yeah, really. They've been in 3rd and 10, 3rd and 13, and 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6. 3rd and 1 or 2 hasn't been part of the equation for them because they've struggled on 1st down, on 1st and 2nd down.
First and 10 for the Bengals. Dalton's in the shotgun, 3 receiver set. Dalton moving his feet, and Darius brings him down. The first sack of Marcel Darius' NFL career.
Well, that was a work-hard sack. Dalton was trying to squeeze out of the pocket. You'll see Darius just move right inside, gets the swim move, and gets right in the face, working against Mike McGlynn, 66, who's in the game today to replace Clint Balling, the rookie.
We asked Nick Barnett about Darius yesterday, and Barnett praised the young rookie. He said he does so much on that defensive line for a rookie that you wouldn't expect, and he's always asking guys like Kyle Williams questions. Barnett was very impressed with the play of Darius. That pass is incomplete, and some pushing and shoving going on now. Drayton Florence and Jermaine Gresham.
Yeah, this is going on away from the play. He just tripped. And once he goes down, you can cover him on the ground just like you can when he's standing up. Of course, it's going to lead into some pushing and shoving. That's Jerome Simpson.
And then Gresham came in to get involved with Florence as well.
But Florence did the right thing. If the guy trips and falls down, lay on him. You're allowed to hit him once within 5 yards. If you hadn't hit him until then, hit him by laying on him. Don't let him get into the route.
3rd down and 18. Dalton throws short. He was looking for Andrew Hawkins, but it skipped to the receiver on the way. And Cincinnati will be forced to punt. They fail to convert the 3rd and long.
That's a tough spot for the quarterback and the receivers. The receivers try and lengthen their routes to try and get to the 1st down, but at 18, you can't really stretch a 10 or 12-yard route to 18 yards or past 18 yards. So Dalton throws the regular route. The receiver tries to stretch it and ends up being an underthrow.
Huber to punt. C.J. Spiller waiting at his 26-yard line. This one angled to the left, and we'll see where they spot it. It goes out of bounds. And Buffalo will take over, but there is a penalty marker on the play on the far side of the field.
And the near side as well.
Gene Steratore, the referee today.
During the kick, holding, return team number 29. 10-yard penalty will be assessed from the end of the kick. First down, Buffalo, timeout.
That penalty on Drayton Florence, that'll back up the Bills when Fitzpatrick comes back on the field. Andy Rooney has become an American icon, and he's about to make his final appearance on 60 Minutes. You do not want to miss it tonight, only CBS. This is the fourth time the Bills will start inside their own 20-yard line. It was a 39-yard punt and then tack on the 10 for the penalty, so Buffalo has it at the 12, first down and 10. Chandler goes in motion. Fitzpatrick, the screen to Jackson, and he's tripped up from behind by Pecco, and a flag comes in.
And this may go against Buffalo. I'm going to call Donald Jones on an offensive pass interference because of the screen pass.
Pass interference, offense, number 86. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Replay, first down.
Actually, David Nelson on that. What happens is the receivers go out and they start trying to protect for the screen pass in the middle, and you're not allowed to do it until the ball has been thrown, because that pass was past the line of scrimmage. That's why the flag was late. If it's a screen pass thrown behind the line of scrimmage, it's not really a penalty, but if they throw it past the line of scrimmage, the receivers cannot block.
Fitzpatrick has to be careful. The Bengals are 7th in the NFL with 9 sacks this season. Fitzpatrick gets rid of it quickly, looking for Jones, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, those penalties, the hold on the punt return, the pass interference, I mean, that's exactly the kind of thing that has made Buffalo get into big holes in the last couple of weeks. They've climbed out of both those holes, and being tied with Cincinnati isn't as bad as it has been in the first half of other games. But in those other games, they weren't facing this defense.
Down 21-0 last week in the second quarter against the Patriots. 2nd and 16 for Buffalo. Fitzpatrick hands it off. This is Fred Jackson, and he gets close to the 10-yard line, but this Cincinnati defense continues to do a great job containing Buffalo's ground attack.
Yeah, you'll see, I mean, they have 6 guys in the box, because Buffalo has spread the field so much. You'll see there's 6 Cincinnati Bengals, and they've got to stop the run. Now, once this ball's handed off, they'll get the secondary to rally in there, but there's just no room for Fred Jackson to run. By the time he clears the line of scrimmage, the secondary and the safeties have come up to help in the run game. The Bengals are playing very disciplined up front, letting the right guy make the tackle on every run.
The Bills have just 16 yards rushing, and now faced with 3rd and 12. Fitzpatrick steps up, and he goes down at the 15-yard line.
And that was almost a called quarterback draw. He didn't even look for a receiver down the football field. You watch that. He's just going to drop back and just take the ball right up the middle. Didn't really even look down the football field, and knows they're just going to try and kick this out of their own end and let their defense take over as well. Field position has been a huge issue for the Buffalo Bills this half. Great job by the Bengals.
Mormon kicks it to Tate. Pushes him back to the 26-yard line. Tate gets by 1. He's trying to get to the outside. Tate to the 40, and he slides down at the 41. 58-yard punt, a return of 14 for Brandon Tate. Well, last week, the Bengals were up 3-0 at halftime against the 49ers, and now we've got a 3-3 game with 3:29 to go.
Marvin Lewis knows with a young quarterback and a good defense, this is the kind of game that you really want. I mean, you want your team to hang tough defensively, you want your offense to pick its spots, and you want to win the field position battle. The Bengals are right on schedule to play the kind of game they planned on getting into with the Buffalo Bills, particularly with the Bills' propensity for scoring points.
Bernard Scott is the running back as Donald Lee goes in motion. Play action. Dalton will just float this one away. And it's second down. Good coverage downfield by the Bills secondary.
Excellent coverage. You can hear the Bills sidelines. They wanted a hold on Sean Merriman working against Andre Smith. They're not going to get it. Great job by Dalton rolling out, buying as much time as he could, and then just throwing the football away. You'll watch as he looks for people down the field. There's just nobody there. Now, one reason for that is that the Bengals are keeping everybody in to protect him. All the offensive linemen, the running backs, and a tight end, they're making sure they're maximum protected against the Bills' front. And that leaves more people in the secondary to cover fewer people for the Bengals.
Second down and 10. Bengals go back to the air. Caldwell has it intercepted by Scott. Scott is off to the races. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Brian Scott.
Caldwell never had possession of this ball, but it never hit the ground. Caldwell bobbled it, and it ended up getting bumped up into the air right in front of Brian Scott, and he picked it up, just like he did the fumble earlier that was called back because of the tuck rule. And I don't think this one's going to be called back. The ball is loose before he's down, and that's all it takes. That is a good touchdown, Buffalo Bills. Watch, the ball is loose, and it pops off his own ankles. Caldwell actually serves it right up to Brian Scott for the easy touchdown. The ball's behind him, you see there, off his knee, off his ankle, off his shin, right into the hands of Scott.
43-yard return for number 43. He thought he had a touchdown earlier. It was wiped out. This one counts. The extra point is good by Lindell. Well, the Bills scored a defensive touchdown last week when Drayton Florence returned a Tom Brady interception for a touchdown, and Buffalo's D put 6 more on the board this week.
Well, if your defense is playing well, that's all a good thing, but if you're going to give up an offensive touchdown the other way, that'll get you beat. You'll see here, the ball is behind Caldwell. Looks like he's going to pull it down, and it just pops out of his grip and then bounces around on his legs. How alert do you have to be to pick that ball up? What a great job by Brian Scott. You see he peeks over his right shoulder to make sure the outside receiver doesn't come up and punch it out. That's a veteran move there as well. That ball just never hits the ground. It's live until it does, and Scott grabs it. What a huge play for the Bills in a game where they have all they can handle from the Bengals defense. The Bills defense comes up with a big play and gives them the lead.
6 interceptions a week ago, or 4 rather, against Brady. 6 for the season. That's first in the NFL. And now they have 2 defensive touchdowns.
And that will be an interception. It won't be a fumble return. I mean, it was just never possessed by the Bengals. And
Third interception of the season for Andy Dalton.
Yeah, the poise we spoke about for Andy Dalton's really being tested now. This is not a Bengals team that is built to come from behind, but their defense always gives them a chance.
Lindell kicks it away. Brandon Tate in his own end zone. And he's going to take this one out. At the 10, and he's tripped, and the ball comes out. The ball is loose. Buffalo says they have it.
Now they're saying it's down. They think that the ground caused that fumble.
The line judge did point to the ground.
Cincinnati.
And it is Cincinnati ball.
Yeah, that's Ron Marinucci, the line judge who came in, had a good angle right there. It happened right in front of him. Ravel Martin did jump on that loose ball, but I don't think it was a fumble. Tate went down, and you saw him come down head first, and then the ball squirted out. We'll get a look at it here. He's carrying it a little bit loose. Yeah, and he goes down, and then the ball squirts out after he's piled on. It's a good call by the official. Tate having a really good day in his first outing as a Bengal. Brought that ball out from 5 yards deep. His confidence might be getting the best of him.
So 3:01 to go in the second quarter. Buffalo now has a 10-3 lead. Dalton goes right back to the shotgun. He wants to go right back to the air. It's deflected and incomplete. It's been a rough day for Andy Dalton. Has not been able to get much going offensively.
No, he hasn't. He's been hurried in the pocket, overthrowing Gresham there. Getting hit hard as he let go of that one. Then the deflected pass that ended up in an interception going back the other way for the Buffalo Bills. Only touchdown for either team.
4 for 15 on the day with that one interception. 2nd and 10. Dalton looking deep. Green trying to get separation. He's got it. Stays on his feet. Cuts back at the 25. Green is still going, and he goes down at the 24-yard line. A.J. Green. And there is a penalty marker on the field.
Yeah, this is going to be against Buffalo on the near side of the field away from the play.
Prior to the pass, illegal use of the hands to the face, defense. Number 29, penalty is declined, result of the play, first down.
A.J. Green, we spoke about him in the open. He is an extremely gifted wide receiver, the rookie out of Georgia. Watch working against McKelvin. Goes up, picks it off of McKelvin's back collar and comes down with it and keeps his balance. What an outstanding play by A.J. Green. That's why you really need some help when you cover that guy one-on-one.
58-yard gain, and that screen pass falls incomplete. They were looking for Benson.
Oh, they had him too. Really well executed screen pass. Benson just has to pull that in. McGlynn and Cook were right out in front of him. They had all kinds of room, and it just ends up laying on the ground. Benson's going to think about that play for a while.
Bengals break the huddle, 2nd and 10. They're at the Buffalo 25-yard line. And movement as Kelsey comes across the line.
Ball start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Andre Smith moved first.
One of the things that's happening with the Bengals, they're communicating a lot up front, but they're moving a lot when they do that. And if they simulate the snap, that's more than just communicating. He flinched. Andre Smith flinched, and that's a classic false start penalty by an offensive tackle. The Bengals offensive linemen are very animated in their communication. You'll see them pointing, and you can hear them yelling about who they're going to pick up.
2nd and 15. Dalton throws over the middle. It's intercepted. George Wilson picks off Dalton. That is the 8th interception of the season for the Buffalo defense.
The 2nd interception in consecutive series for Andrew Dalton. That one was a good pick by George Wilson. That was a poor decision by Dalton. The first one he's made today. George Wilson on almost the exact same undercut that he picked off last week against the New England Patriots, except that one was on the goal line. And you see it there, Andre Caldwell, once again the receiver that Dalton was trying to fit that pass into. This time, I don't think you put that one on Caldwell. You put that one on Dalton.
2nd interception of the season for Wilson. Buffalo leads the NFL in interceptions, and now Buffalo with 3 timeouts and 2:13 to go in the 2nd quarter. Fred Jackson on the handoff, and he stumbles his way to the 33-yard line. And that should take us to the 2-minute warning. Buffalo up 10-3, looking for more before halftime. Well, Andy Dalton threw his first 2 career interceptions in the 4th quarter last week against San Francisco, and 2 more in the first half against Buffalo today. 2nd and 1 for the Bills. They lead 10-3, and they have all 3 timeouts. Another handoff to Jackson, and he keeps going at the 45. Jackson spins his way across midfield and dragged down at the 46-yard line by Geno Atkins.
Yeah, the Bills will go no huddle here inside of 2 minutes. Great run by Freddie Jackson. You see why he's been so productive, his ability to stay on his feet and find every yard that he can get.
First down. Fitzpatrick's pass is batted down. Carlos Dunlap got his hand up there, and it's second down.
Yeah, Carlos Dunlap is really turning into a pure pass rusher. He can get to the quarterback, and he's so long and has such length in his arms. That's the kind of play he can make, even if he doesn't get a sack. Really came on in the last game, that you heard me say earlier. 8 sacks in the last 6 games of 2010 has him poised to really explode this year.
Marvin Lewis questioned his effort during practice last year, but this year he says he's a different person. He's matured, and it's showing. He's getting a lot of playing time again for the Bengals. Fitzpatrick to throw. It's caught by Stevie Johnson at the 28, and he's gone. Stevie Johnson inside the 10 and tackled at the 3-yard line. Stevie Johnson took off after he made that catch, and Kelly Jennings makes a touchdown-saving tackle, a 44-yard gain.
Yeah, he got a nice block after he makes this grab. It's a nice throw, stick move to the outside, and then you'll watch. He gets a nice block from David Nelson, a little bit of interference that gets him inside the 10, and you're right. I'm with you, Andrew. I thought Johnson was gone, but the Bengals rallied and got there to snap off the touchdown. You see Dalton there, you know he's feeling it. The regret of throwing that last interception.
First and goal. They go to Jackson, running left. Touchdown, Buffalo. Fred Jackson's 4th rushing touchdown of the season. And the Bills go up 16-3 after the Dalton turnover.
Well, that was an impressive drive by the Buffalo offense, using Freddie Jackson in the run and the pass. Getting the throw out to Stevie Johnson, and inside of 2 minutes in the spread no huddle, Ryan Fitzpatrick really seems to be comfortable, and this offense really clicks under his direction. And then going very heavy up front, and Freddie Jackson bouncing right outside behind the block of Corey McIntyre, almost untouched right into the corner of the end zone.
Great block by McIntyre, his 7th year out of West Virginia, as the extra point is good. 17-3, Buffalo on top of Cincinnati. They've exploded in this second quarter.
And as well as the Cincinnati Bengals defense has played, the Bengal offense has not done enough to help them. And sooner or later, once you get behind, your offense has got to do something to step it up. And it looked like the Bengals showed some signs of life with the A.J. Green catch down the sidelines, but one mistake by Andrew Dalton, and it turned into a big momentum switch the other way for the Bills. Great drive. You get an idea on that last drive why Freddie Jackson is so important to this Buffalo Bills club. He does everything, catches passes, he pass protects. He's very adept at blocking for Ryan Fitzpatrick, as well as splitting all the way out as a wide receiver. And the catch he made last week and getting down inside the 5-yard line against the Patriots to set up the winning field goal was typical.
Jackson played at Coe College, a Division III school in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and he wears a chain. D3 boys. He has a lot of pride in all of the people that have made it to the NFL or even just any pro league, whether it's the Canadian Football League. He wants to carry that torch for other Division III players who play professional football. Tate makes the catch at the 5-yard line, up across the 20, and stacked up there and driven back. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report.
Well, Andrew Dalton's going to continue to take snaps for these Bengals. I mean, he's the guy. They're going to stick with him. I think he's got a long leash. This franchise believes he's the future for them at quarterback, and I think in a year like this, they're going to let him go.
Bengals have 2 timeouts. They're going to throw the ball, and on first down, the pass is caught by Jerome Simpson, tackled by Drayton Florence. Cincinnati does not use its timeout here. They have 2 remaining. Dalton again will throw. Out pattern to Simpson with 10 seconds to go.
Simpson working against Drayton Florence, and ever since there was a pushing and shoving match earlier in this half, Drayton Florence has been He's had a slow burn going. He's had a couple of penalties as a result, and he's looking to get a little bit of comeuppance for whatever the Bengals are throwing at him. He is not happy with some things that happened early in the half, and they're going after him right now.
3rd and 1, Cincinnati 2 for 7 on 3rd downs today. This is Brian Leonard, the Rutgers grad, and some boos from the fans at Paul Brown Stadium as the Bengals will let time tick away to end this first half.
And they're holding up there. The Bills took a timeout right before the half ended, and now they're going to stay on the football field. You see there, Jerry Steratore gave the Bills a timeout. There's no time on the game clock, but the officials are bringing everybody back out on the field. Both teams were halfway to the locker room. Chan Gailey must have called a timeout on the Bills sideline.
The result of the play is a first down, and with 2 seconds remaining in the half, Buffalo has called their first timeout.
And Bills
it is a
called
30-second timeout, Buffalo, and it is 1st and 10, Cincinnati.
Well, I think the Bills thought they called a timeout. I didn't think they got the first down.
They thought it was 4th down and 1. They were going to force the Bengals to punt.
You can see there, Chan Gailey thought it was not a first down. That's why he called the timeout. Well, they're stuck now. You can see Chan Gailey came out and said he didn't think they made the first down. So there's a little confusion now. They're going to run a play here, and seems to be a virtually meaningless play for both clubs as they were halfway to the locker room.
Buffalo in a prevent defense. And the Bengals have 3 wide receivers with 2 seconds to go. They'll just hand it off to Leonard, who runs up the middle and tackled by Barnett at the 47-yard line, and that will do it for the first half. A rough first half for Andy Dalton. He throws 2 interceptions. And at halftime, Buffalo trying to go to 4-0 on the season. They have a 17-3 lead. We'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on $17-3, Buffalo on top of Cincinnati at Paul Brown Stadium. And hi everyone, welcome back to Cincinnati alongside Steve Tasker. I'm Andrew Catalon. The Cincinnati defense really set the tone early, Steve, but then those 2 turnovers by Andy Dalton were so costly. The Bills took advantage, and how about this? The Bills have a halftime lead.
Yeah, it's an unusual situation for them. They've got a 2-touchdown lead at halftime, coming into the part of the game where they've been very tough of late and then really into their wheelhouse.
Let's take a look at the halftime stats, and they're actually pretty even except for the turnovers, and then of course the points off turnovers. 14 for Buffalo, and that's the difference in the game right now.
Absolutely, and if the Bengals are going to get back into this game, they're going to have to get some turnovers of their own. They'll start this half with the football as they deferred at the coin flip to the start of the game. The Bills will kick off from left to right, and it's going to be up to Andrew Dalton to come out and try and get some points on the board for his Bengals.
Now let's take a look at the mobile recap presented by Verizon. Andy Dalton was intercepted, and Brian Scott, number 43, took it back 43 yards for a Buffalo touchdown. So Dalton with 2 fourth-quarter interceptions against San Francisco, 2 more today. They'll try to get back on track as Ryan Fitzpatrick, Mr. Cool, sitting on that Buffalo sideline enjoying a 2-touchdown lead. Lindell kicks it away. Brandon Tate back of the end zone, and he'll take a knee. Cincinnati will start 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line.
Well, this time I'm sure that the Bengals went in at halftime and got a handle on what some of the things that they did do some things very well in the first half offensively, but they needed Andy Dalton to take a deep breath and give him something tangible to work with, some plays that he feels comfortable with, some things that their offense was doing well, some things that the Bills defense showed. This is a crucial possession for Andrew Dalton and the Bengals offense.
Cincinnati with 60 rushing yards at the half. They start on the ground with Cedric Benson. And he gets to the 25-yard line. That was something Marvin Lewis talked about throughout the week. We have to establish the run, really reestablish the run. They're averaging 97 yards per game on the ground, but they only had 79 last week against the 49ers.
Yeah, he also said, listen, we're going to have to hit some big plays. We've got to cash in on some opportunities. They had a big play to A.J. Green late in the first half, but it led to the interception later on.
Benson finds some room. Cedric Benson into Buffalo territory. Jarris Byrd takes him down.
Well, big plays don't have to always come through the air as Cedric Benson comes off the left side. Extremely well blocked right out in front. Nate Livings, Andrew Whitworth get up and seal off the edge as Benson just slips right in. Gets to the corner of the defense, nice blocks. A.J. Green gets a nice block. So does Jerome Simpson down the field. Drayton Florence having to fend off that block, trying to make the tackle, getting Benson out of bounds.
28-yard gain by Cedric Benson. 1st and 10 for Dalton. He will throw on 1st down. Looking for the home run ball, and A.J. Green. Oh, what a catch! A.J. Green inside the 10-yard line. And you see why he was the 4th overall pick in the draft this year. 40-yard gain.
Well, you can bet somebody got in Andrew Dalton's ear at halftime and said, listen, if you see single coverage, even if the coverage is off, you throw the ball to 18. A.J. Green, you see the extension and the catch. The guy catches everything. He's got a huge catch radius, and he can battle for the football. What a fantastic catch on a throw that wasn't all that great, but it really doesn't matter when that guy's catching it.
They go to Benson on 1st and goal, but first, whistle and a penalty marker on the play.
Yeah, false start by the Bengals.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
That's the second call on Andre Smith today.
He was the 6th overall pick in the 2009 draft, has not lived up to the hype so far, but Marvin Lewis told us yesterday that he feels that Smith is getting closer to being that 6th overall pick and fitting the bill that everyone was so high on him coming out of college.
No question. Even down here, you'll look for the Bengals to look for A.J. Green.
They go to Benson, and he gets back inside the 10-yard line.
This is a big, and like I said, this is a very crucial possession for the Bengals because they've had a chance to get a look at the Bills defense, see what the Bills thought of them coming into the game, understand the Bills' plan of attack, and now make some adjustments. Let's face it, both defenses were pretty good in the first half. The Bengals giving up 1 touchdown. The Bills not giving up a touchdown.
And this is something Cincinnati focused on in practice this week. They have to finish drives. They can't settle for field goals here inside the red zone. They go back on the ground. Benson down to the 2-yard line. Jarris Byrd and Dwan Edwards make the tackle. And here comes 3rd and goal for Cincinnati.
Well, and when you get down close like this, if you're pounding the football for 4 yards a pop, you're not going to stop doing that. You can bet the Bills defense is looking around saying, listen, we got to be stronger up front. The offensive line of the Bengals is pushing them back on this opening drive of the second half, and if the Bills came out feeling comfortable with a 2-touchdown lead, the Bengals are going to make them uncomfortable right here.
3rd and goal. Dalton will throw to Green, and it's incomplete. They tried the fade pattern to A.J. Green, but nothing doing, and here comes the field goal unit with boos from the fans at Paul Brown Stadium.
Drayton Florence does a nice job. That was not a bad throw by Dalton. It gets to the outside, and Green just can't pull it in. Probably thinking about how close he was to the sideline. He's right there very close to it. It all happened too fast.
So a 21-yard field goal attempt from Mike Nugent. He made a field goal in the first half. He's 8 for 8 on the season. This is not much more than an extra point. And Nugent's kick is good. Well, they had a big play, Dalton to Green to get him into the red zone, but they couldn't finish off. The Bengals settle for 3. Cincinnati scores on its opening drive of the second half. A.J. Green, the big play to get him into great field position inside the 10-yard line, but they couldn't finish off. They settle for a 21-yard field goal by Mike Nugent. 17-6 Bills on top of the Bengals. Spiller and Smith back deep for Buffalo, and this will be Brad Smith, and Brad Smith will take a knee. First offensive possession of the second half for the Bills. They have dominated after halftime so far this season. They outscored the Chiefs 21-0 in the second half in week 1. Then the incredible comeback against the Raiders in week 2. And of course, last week, knocking out the Patriots for the first time since 2003. A streak of 15 consecutive games that the Bills finally put to an end.
And people are giving as much credit to that guy right there, Ryan Fitzpatrick, as they are the coaching staff of the Bills. And Chan Gailey told us he has earned a lot of freedom in this offense. We're very comfortable with him making adjustments on the field by himself.
Fred Jackson on 1st and 10. And the Cincinnati front four is right there to meet Jackson.
Well, there's no question that Bengals defense has shown up. I mean, they've given up 10 points is all. You forget that one of the touchdowns the Buffalo got was an interception return. They did give up the touchdown right before halftime on a nice 2-minute drive by the Bills. There you see Mike Zimmer, defensive coordinator, who has simplified the calls of his defense a little bit because Ray Maualuga works better that way.
C.J. Spiller lined up as a receiver at the top of your screen. Fitzpatrick in trouble, and Ryan Fitzpatrick is sacked. Geno Atkins brings him down. 3rd sack of the season for Atkins. He leads the Bengals.
Well, the Bills line up with 4 receivers to the left of Ryan Fitzpatrick. He looks to the left, and boy, that pocket just collapses right on him. Geno Atkins, along with Michael Johnson, everybody coming in on the left side, right where Fitzpatrick was looking, and Fitzpatrick does the right thing, makes sure he gives no...
He ripped his jersey, Steve. Take a look at that. 3rd and 17. It's a screen pass to Jackson, tackled from behind by Fanene. And the Bills will be forced to punt, and Ryan Fitzpatrick will likely be forced to get a new jersey.
Well, he's standing in the pocket. Michael Johnson comes right in off the corner and grabs him. You see him right there, and there goes. I mean, that's... You can see he's got rib protectors and all that stuff on him. As the equipment staff, I don't know what you're going to do. Get the scissors out for that one. I think that's going into the goodwill pile.
Mormon will punt. Brandon Tate at his 15-yard line. Good punt by Mormon. And Tate goes out of bounds at the 27-yard line after a 55-yard punt by Brian Mormon. A wardrobe malfunction for Ryan Fitzpatrick. We're back in a moment. There's the old jersey. You don't need that one anymore. Ryan Fitzpatrick has a new jersey on the bench as Cincinnati takes over.
I didn't know they carried spare jerseys for guys.
Well, there is a fan in a Steve Tasker jersey.
Offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
There's a fan right in front of us with a Tasker 89, so if Fitzpatrick rips another, we might have to use this, guys.
Yeah, I do have a small, deeply disturbed following. But that's news to me. I didn't, and you know, you kind of figure, yeah, I guess they would need some spare jerseys, particularly for guys who like Fitzpatrick who are going to carry the ball and the running backs. I mean, I know my jersey never even got dirty, let alone torn. So that's news to me.
After the penalty, Dalton will throw on 1st down. That's Jermaine Gresham, who slips away from one tackle and gets up to close to the 35-yard line. Let's go back to New York and update. JB hit Houston and Pittsburgh.
Andrew, on the ground, Pittsburgh.
13 plays, 74 yards, capped off by a 3-yard TD run by Rashard Mendenhall. The Steelers are back in it, 10-7, Texans.
Hey, Steve, Shannon Sharp says he wants to get up at 5:50 to do a spinning class tomorrow. I told him you do it, not me. Back to Andrew and Steve.
Yeah. Think again.
More penalties after the 11-yard gain by Gresham.
Well, they just had a penalty where the Bills goaded the Bengals into twitching offsides. Now I think it might go in the reverse.
Neutral zone infraction, defense. Number 95 was in the neutral zone, causing the offense to false start. 5-yard penalty, result of the play, first down.
Now you can move on defense, but if your movement goes into the neutral zone across the ball, and that causes the offense, and that's what the offensive linemen are trained to do. If they jump into the neutral zone, you twitch, and it's a free 5 yards.
Penalty on Kyle Williams gives the Bengals a first down, 1st and 10 for Cincinnati. This is Cedric Benson. And he's tackled by Wilson. Check that, Jarris Byrd.
Benson, who kind of is so patient. Watch here, a little hesitation there as well, and gets to the corner after making the defense think he's going to cut it up inside. Nice hesitation moves by Benson. Experienced back with a good burst around the edge. Really helps out his blockers up front.
Had a big week against the Browns to open up the season. 121 yards and a touchdown to seal it in their win. Dalton complete to A.J. Green, another Cincinnati first down.
And that was a great throw by Dalton as well. McKelvin was on the coverage, but Dalton has to fit this over the top. Right there, as you see, George Wilson was in the throwing lane. Dalton puts just enough air under it to get it out to Green for the catch.
We've seen the physical talent and tools of A.J. Green, but what Marvin Lewis says is his attitude and work ethic are equally impressive. And A.J. admits he does not have a big head. He said once you get a big head, it's over. Benson, as Merriman brings him down, but Cincinnati moving down the field on this drive.
Both drives to open the second half have been very impressive by Cincinnati. Benson and A.J. Green have been the catalysts to do it. And I'll tell you, if I'm a quarterback like Andrew Dalton, when I drop back to throw it, I am looking for A.J. Green. He has been sensational. Although Dalton's spreading it around to Gresham and others, that's the main guy.
Benson has more rushing yards in this half than the Bills do for the entire game. Andy Dalton to throw, and it's complete to Hawkins. Another Cincinnati first down. Second catch of the day for Andrew Hawkins.
The Bengals doing a nice job moving Dalton out of the pocket and giving him a chance to uncomplicate it. Just cut the field in half and just roll out there and just look for the open guy. He had Caldwell as well as Hawkins coming across. Great play action, which is going to work better because the run game has started to emerge for Cincinnati.
1st and 10 for the Bengals, and they go back to Benson, tackled from behind by Spencer Johnson. And this is a point here, Steve, where if the Bengals, they can't settle for a field goal again. They got to try to take this one in.
Well, it's early, but you're right. I mean, sooner or later, they're going to have to score some touchdowns to catch up. And you know, their defense, if their defense continues to hold Buffalo, there's plenty of time in this game. You don't want to settle for field goals on. The crowd didn't like that first field goal that the Bengals settled for in this half, but it was the right move. And threatening again, the Bengals looking very good on offense.
2nd down and 9. Simpson goes in motion at the top of your screen. Dalton to the end zone for Gresham. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Jermaine Gresham makes a great catch, and it's 17-12.
Well, the Bills are used to seeing second half comebacks, but it has been them that has been the team that has emerged after halftime rejuvenated. But today, the Cincinnati Bengals come out of the halftime break and put together two very impressive drives. One ended up in a field goal, and this great catch by Gresham in the corner of the end zone gives them a chance to close the gap to 3 points.
He uses his 6'5" frame to get over George Wilson. And they will go for one here, 17-13, with 5:26 to go. Jermaine Gresham, the second-year player out of Oklahoma, has his second touchdown of the season, and Cincinnati pulls to within 4. The Bengals have run 12 offensive plays this half. 6 have gone for more than 10 yards, including the 17-yard touchdown to Jermaine Gresham from Andy Dalton. Cincinnati has 320 yards of offense to Buffalo's 172. As Brad Smith lets that one bounce, and the Bills' offense will come on the field when we come back to Paul Brown Stadium. The Bengals had some momentum with 5:26 to go in the third quarter. Buffalo's lead has been cut to 4. 1st and 10 for the Bills at the 20-yard line. Motion man is Fred Jackson. Fitzpatrick wants to throw, and he has a man in Donald Jones, just shy of the first down marker. Let's go back to that touchdown, Steve.
Well, the Bengals do a nice job of getting Gresham isolated on George Wilson with all of that field to this side of the field open. I mean, he's got all that space to work with. George Wilson having to cover him all over that half of the field. A great throw by Dalton over the top. A lot of space for a one-on-one matchup.
2nd down and 1. Fred Jackson. He is stuffed. Nowhere to go for Fred Jackson. Ray Malaluga got back there quickly for Cincinnati.
And he plays this perfectly. Watch, Malaluga is going to come right here. He just steps around the block by Reinhardt. Reinhardt just couldn't get him in the space they had. Watch as he comes out and just misses him. Great job by Malaluga.
Made the move to middle linebacker this year, and he leads the front 7 in tackles. No gain on the play, so 3rd down and 1. Buffalo is 1 for 8 on 3rd downs today. Jackson again, and he has a first down.
And you can feel the sense of urgency kind of starting to rise on the Buffalo Bills sideline. Certainly this crowd here in Paul Brown Stadium feeling the momentum that's completely shifted since halftime has been over. The Bengals offense rising up with 2 impressive drives and really taking it to the Buffalo Bills, who have been a second half team this first month of the season.
On 1st and 10, the Bills with 4 wide receivers. Nelson goes in motion. Fitzpatrick feeling the pressure, gets it away to Nelson. He makes the catch at the 36-yard line and tackled at the 37. You can keep up with the NFL when you're on the go. The NFL's mobile apps are all new for the 2011 season. Go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more.
The Bills have reverted to a short passing game to get the ball out of Fitzpatrick's hands. They've had trouble handling the pressure packages of the Bengals all day. So they've tried to revert to screen passes, the running game, and the quick passes to get the ball out before the pressure can get to Fitzpatrick.
Fred Jackson up the middle. And Thomas Howard tackles him at the 46-yard line. Another Buffalo first down.
Both these offensive and defensive lines so important to both these clubs. The defensive line of the Bengals really is the key to their great defense. They have some pure pass rushers that they bring in certain situations, but then they also have guys like Geno Atkins and D'Amata Pecco to come in, Pat Sims, Jonathan Fanene, who can come in and stuff the run and do a nice job there as well.
Fitzpatrick under center. We've seen less of the shotgun in the second half for the Bills. He'll throw the screen out to Jackson. And Fred Jackson Moves into Cincinnati territory. Pickup of 9 yards. Reggie Nelson on the stop for Cincinnati.
You see the Bills run these plays. You just see the play fake to Jackson and then the throw right back to him. He's so versatile with the football in his hands. He catches it extremely well. He's great in tight spaces. He's a physical runner, and he's also very good out in the open field. And the Bills use him in every way possible, and it's good for them because defenses can't key on personnel combinations when the same personnel are in the field, on the field for all of them.
They go back in the shotgun, hand off to Jackson. First down for Buffalo. This Bills offense is so close together. Ryan Fitzpatrick during the lockout organized workouts in his home in Arizona. 9 players went to Fitzpatrick's house. They took over the house. Fitzpatrick's wife and his kids had to go to his mother-in-law's house. And David Nelson and Naaman Roosevelt slept in bunk beds. Fred Jackson took Fitzpatrick's bed. Fitzpatrick slept on the couch. Fitzpatrick will throw, and it's incomplete. Fitzpatrick, of course, said that Jackson took the bed. Then we asked Jackson about, well, how did you end up at Fitzpatrick's bed? And he said, Ryan's just too nice of a guy.
Yes, that's right. Fitzpatrick said, listen, it's an enormous bed. You come in, we'll just sleep in it. And he said, I ain't sharing a bed with you, man. That ain't happening. Fitzpatrick said, no, all right, you sleep there. I'll sleep down. But they all, you can tell in a situation like that when they're laughing about it and they had such a good time together, how close they became. And it has really helped them on the football field. They're on the same wavelength, and they have relationships apart from the game that have helped them on the field.
C.J. Spiller on the carry for Buffalo, across the 40 and down to the 38-yard line. C.J. Spiller scored the first rushing touchdown of his career in Week 1 against Kansas City. And he's now the primary punt return with Roscoe Parrish on injured reserve. Spiller is the only one of the 12 running backs, receivers, and tight ends drafted in the first 3 rounds. He was a first-round pick. 10th play of this drive. Pass is complete to C.J. Spiller. That's a first down in the end of the third quarter. Buffalo leads 17-13. We'll return to Cincinnati after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the fourth quarter in Cincinnati. The Bengals with 10 points in the third quarter. And we've got a 4-point ball game, but Buffalo doing a great job on this drive. They consumed the last 5.5 minutes of the third quarter. Very methodical drive, and it continues here. First down and 10 on the 29-yard line. Fitzpatrick has it caught by Stevie Johnson, who stays on his feet and then goes out of bounds.
Again, this game has really been dictated by the defense of the Bengals. You think about what this game means. It should be 13-10 in favor of the Bengals. And you take away the interception return by the Buffalo defense, and this Bengals defense has kept this team in the lead.
16 runs, 28 pass plays for the Bills today. Second down and 5. They spread it out and hand it off inside to Jackson, looking for somewhere to go. And Fred Jackson gets close to the 20-yard line. Tackle made by Jabril Wilson.
We've said it so many times how good this Bengal defense has been. The Bills knew it when they came in. They've proven and lived up to that hype. And the Bills really, this drive, have started to show some character. They got hit in the mouth in their first possession. Couldn't do anything. Their defense came out and got put on its heels by the Cincinnati offense, and now The Bills offense has started to flex its muscles, show its character, and started to put a nice drive together.
Jackson on the sideline on 3rd and 2. McIntyre and Spiller in the backfield. They give it to C.J. Spiller, and he gets across the 20. And C.J. Spiller has another Buffalo first down. Pecco makes the tackle, and Spiller slow to get up. They've been trying to get C.J. Spiller more touches, whether that's handing him the ball or throwing it out to him in the flat. And that time they give it to him on a big 3rd down, and he converts for the Bills.
And that was a very nice physical run inside. Also very patient. Watch here at the end of it. He gets rolled over, and I think it's hit on the shin or gets bent the wrong way.
Buffalo tied with New England for the most red zone touchdowns. They have 12. And that pass is incomplete, intended for Donald Jones. 2nd down and 10.
This is a quick little out route right out the top of your screen. You'll see the ball doesn't quite get there. Jones gets his hands on it, but can't stop his momentum. It goes, and because you see, he gets on one hand on top, and the ball comes loose. If he would have caught the ball off the ground and then held control of it while it hit the ground, it still would have been a catch. But that was an incomplete pass.
Scott Chandler goes in motion on 2nd down and 10. They give it to Freddie Jackson. And great pressure in the backfield by Malaluga. This Cincinnati defense has been stingy on the ground.
You'll see there, they just get such good penetration. Great stunt inside by Malaluga, blows the play up and allows the rest of that defense, Robert Gathers, to make that tackle. Malaluga very active on the inside, has found a home there. Mike Zimmer talks to Malaluga on the headset before each defensive snap. Malaluga makes the call.
Bills were 1 for 8 on 3rd downs to begin the game. They're 3 for 3 on this drive. 3rd down and 9. Fitzpatrick gets rid of it to Jackson at the 10. Fred Jackson to the 5. And he is short of a first down. Ryan Lindell and the Bills field goal unit comes on the field.
And this is a victory for the Cincy defense. The Bills, with good ball possession, use a lot of clock, control the game, but have to settle for a field goal.
Good pursuit by Morgan Trent there. 17th play of this drive. It's a 23-yard field goal attempt for Lindell, and the kick is good.
That was a great hold by Brian Moorman on a bad snap.
Bills up 20-13.
A moment ago, Brian Moorman handles this snap, and watch his left hand. His fingers he's still holding the ball with his left hand as Lindell kicks it through the uprights. Doesn't have a chance to really just put his finger on the ball and get his hand out of the way. And Lindell has already started his motion and kicks right through it.
Great job by Moorman after that 17-play, 9-minute and 4-second drive, the longest of the season for the Buffalo Bills. Tate takes this one out of the end zone. At the 20, up to the 25, and tackled at the 26-yard line. Buffalo leads Cincinnati 20-13. Tomorrow, the only thing these two girls have in common is that they're broke. Not those two girls, you know what I mean. See why Two Broke Girls is TV's #1 new show. Two Broke Girls tomorrow after How I Met Your Mother, only CBS. 1st and 10 for the Bengals. Bernard Scott takes the pitch, running left, nowhere to go. Dwan Edwards takes him down. 7th-year man out of Oregon State.
And that was a nice job on the run play by the Bills. And it's now the Bills defense is going to get a chance to do something to help out their offense. The Bengals have put together two really impressive drives to start this second half. Their third possession comes now down a touchdown. As you see there, George Edwards, defensive coordinator of the Bills, trying to rally his troops to stop this offense.
3-yard loss on the play. 2nd and 13. Dalton with his screen right back to Scott. Running left and pushed out of bounds by Nick Barnett.
Kind of get an idea now that Andrew Dalton has had some pretty good drives. He threw the touchdown pass a moment ago to Gresham, but they're gonna have ultimately, and you know this too, Andrew, ultimately the NFL is about having a guy who can stand in the pocket and make the throws that beat you. And until Andrew Dalton proves he can do that, the Bills are gonna have the upper hand defensively.
Big 3rd down for the Bengals, 3rd down and 8. They are 3 for 9 today on 3rd downs. Dalton throws incomplete. Miscommunication with A.J. Green, and Cincinnati will be forced to punt.
And there you have it. I mean, that's just what we were talking about. Dalton's got to drop back and make that throw from the pocket. You'll see A.J. Green, and Kelvin, they get tied up, and that wasn't even close.
Quick 3 and out for Cincinnati. C.J. Spiller back deep, awaiting the punt.
It's exactly the kind of possession that the Bills defense wanted to have.
Huber with a short kick. Spiller calls for a fair catch at the 37-yard line. 9:54 to go in the 4th quarter. Buffalo is still up by 7. Bright sunny day in Cincinnati. And Buffalo has it 1st and 10 with 9:54 to go in the 4th quarter. Fitzpatrick starts with an empty backfield. He will throw on 1st down. Gets it away to Stevie Johnson. And Johnson crawls forward just shy of the 1st down marker.
Now I think the Bills are going to huddle up and look for a moment. They'd thought about hurrying to the line and call a quick play, but Fitzpatrick just huddling them up. Going empty on 1st down, you can know that that's a play and a tactic that they wanted to stay with. We'll see if they do go empty. Now with Spiller in the backfield, he's going to line up 8 yards deep as the I-back. Watch for him perhaps to shift out of that backfield.
They give it to Fred Jackson on 2nd and 1, and he's wrapped up. Domata Peko makes the tackle. It was actually C.J. Spiller on the carry.
Yeah, that's an interesting personnel combination. Freddie Jackson and Spiller on the field at the same time. Freddie Jackson's going to come over and block the backside, and Spiller's going to run off that block, and there's nothing there. Peko steps inside the block of the offensive line right into the hole. As we have a timeout now on the field.
Demetrius Bell, the offensive lineman for the Bills, is shaken up. He's on one knee at the 40-yard line.
Demetrius Bell, a left tackle for the Bills, has been one of the guys who's exceeded expectations at this early point of the year.
We're back to Cincinnati right after this. They're working on Demetrius Bell's right shoulder on the Buffalo sideline. Chris Hairston takes his place at left tackle. Hairston was college teammates with C.J. Spiller at Clemson, a rookie 4th-round draft pick this year for Buffalo. 3rd down and 1. Fred Jackson next to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick will throw. Caught 1st down. Stevie Johnson into Cincinnati territory. And now they're saying it was incomplete. Johnson can't believe it. Fred Jackson is telling Chan Gailey to throw the challenge flag.
Stevie Johnson can't believe it. And when the players react like that, and now Chan Gailey's going to go with his players, we'll see him come out of this break. And I certainly don't see the bobble there. It has to be when he turned his back.
Challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete forward pass.
Now he has to finish the process, and unless that ball is loose and touches the ground when his back is to the camera, which is where the officials saw. Now they're not going to be able to, here we go, and this might be a better angle. Looks like a good catch to me.
Looks like a catch to me as well. This is the first time this season Chan Gailey has thrown the red challenge flag.
And You know, the problem is his players might be right, but there may not be enough there to overturn the call. And I agree with Chan Gailey on this. When your players come up and react that strongly to a call, and it's allowable that you challenge it, I think you do. I think you got to go with your players. The players know.
Stevie Johnson with a TD catch in each of his first 3 games.
One of the reasons the players always do that, it's not just because it's the backyard. They know that they're going to lose a timeout if they lose this challenge. They know that they're not going to ask for a challenge if it's not going to be upheld, or at least if the call was wrong. Whether it's upheld or not depends on what the officials see in the replay. But the players know there's consequences, and he has to finish the process of catching the football. So if it did come out late, that's up to the official. And the official that called it incomplete came from the exact angle that you'd have to be in to see if the ball was on the ground.
Well, that's the key. It was called incomplete on the field, so there has to be enough conclusive evidence that there was a catch made by Stevie Johnson to overturn it. Good coverage on the play by Nate Clements.
Well, there's nothing there that says the ball was loose. The ball can touch the ground if he can retains control.
The ruling on the field stands. It is an incomplete pass. Buffalo will be charged with its first timeout. It will be 4th down.
Chan Gailey in disbelief, and Buffalo will have to punt.
And that's an enormous call by the. You see Stevie Johnson still hot about it. He's going to talk to the official out there, and the guy was a long way away, but if he saw the ball come out and touch the ground, it's an incomplete pass. And he was pretty adamant. He sold the call, but he didn't sell it to Stevie Johnson.
So Brian Moorman will punt. Brandon Tate waiting the kick at his own 8-yard line. Good kick by Moorman, bounces at the 7, and it goes into the end zone. So Cincinnati will start at the 20. 53-yard punt by Moorman.
The Bills have got a slow burn going. Not only Moorman at that ball bouncing so soft and still making it into the end zone, but Chan Gailey and the whole Bills sideline just still believe that that was a catch by Stevie Johnson. And this right here, Justin Rogers running into the end zone, and that's, he just gave up on the play. I mean, you just can't do that.
Cedric Benson on the carry for Cincinnati. With 8:20 to go in the 4th quarter, the Bengals are down by 7. The Buffalo Bills trying to improve to 4-0 for the first time since 2008.
The Bengals defense getting that stop, allowing the offense to come out and keep this game close, maybe take the lead or tie it up with a touchdown.
On 2nd and 4, Dalton chased out by Kyle Williams. Now Dwan Edwards applying pressure, and that's caught by Jermaine Gresham. It's a catch, and it's a first down for Cincinnati.
Dalton buying lots and lots of time, and Gresham doing a great job staying alive and coming all the way back to the football to catch this. You'll see him go out working on George Wilson, then just pivots and then sees his quarterback over there and just goes out and makes himself available. That's a great job by the big tight end, staying alert, making himself available to the quarterback.
25-yard reception. Benson on first down, trying to get to the outside, has a little bit of room. First down and more, knocked out by George Wilson.
You'll see Kelsey come in, take on the block to the inside, takes out 2 blockers, and Andre Davis can't get around the garbage to get out to the outside, leaves George Wilson chasing Benson down the sideline.
14 yards on the play for Benson. He's 3 away from 100. 1st and 10 for Cincinnati, 7 minutes to go. Benson this time trying the left side, and Dwan Edwards drags him down from behind. Well, let's go to New York for an update with JB, Detroit and Dallas.
Breaking news, Andrew and Steve. Calvin Johnson's pretty good.
JB, they call him Megatron. He's 6'4", a 41-inch vertical, around 3 guys. Guess who has the ball, JB? Make him smell the deodorant, Cal. The referee puts his arms up, touchdown, 30-24. The boy still has the...
As Boomer said, he did it in rush hour traffic. Andrew and Steve.
He doesn't have Steve Tasker height, I'll tell you that. Dalton wants to throw deep to the end zone for A.J. Green. Incomplete. Broken up by McKelvin.
McKelvin came over late to help George Wilson, who was tied up. He lets Green go to the inside. He's got outside, inside is George Wilson. As he turns around, McKelvin gets back into the play and tips it away. Good double coverage. A.J. Green better get used to that because he's not going to go anywhere on a football field, maybe for the rest of his career, by himself. He's going to have 2 defenders with him wherever he goes.
3rd down and 8 for Cincinnati. 3 for 10 on 3rd downs today. Dalton has it to Gresham. 1st down to the 15-yard line. 18-yard gain. Jermaine Gresham, and Cincinnati moves the chains.
Gresham once again coming off, working against Brian Scott. And that's just a great throw and catch. Great route. Gets good separation. The ball is right where it needs to be, right when it needs to be there.
1st and 10 for the Bengals at the 16-yard line. Benson running left. And Andre Davis tackles him at the 11.
And the Bengals springing to life offensively, being helped by Cedric Benson. Benson has been a little quiet, but how effective has he been? He's made some great runs when the Bengals needed it most. He's been there every time they've needed to depend on that running game. They've felt like they can just turn around, give it to him. He's gotten positive yards, really kept the Bills defense honest.
He's over 100 yards for the first time since week 1 against the Cleveland Browns. 2nd and 6. That's Benson that goes out in motion, empty backfield. Dalton throws left to Caldwell at the 5, and Caldwell has another Cincinnati 1st down. It's 1st and goal. Jarris Byrd made the stop, but Caldwell moves the chains.
And this is a drive where Andrew Dalton is showing a lot of people why they like him. The poise he's shown after a tough start to the day, throwing the interception for a touchdown early in the 1st half, coming back in the 2nd half and orchestrating drives that have really put the Bengals in an opportunity, a chance to get back in this game.
1st and goal at the 4. They throw it up for Green, and he's out of bounds. Drayton Florence had the coverage on the rookie A.J. Green at 2nd and goal.
Getting tied up, Florence gets up and takes the big swipe a little early, and A.J. Green catches it, but doesn't get his foot in bounds. You see his lead foot lands out of bounds when he catches it. He drags that back foot, but it's too late.
Do you like the pass on 1st and goal?
Oh yeah, that's exactly the way you got to attack it. Give him a chance to go up and make a play. You can come back and hand it off if you want. Now they go empty. Looks like they're going to try and find a place to fit the football in.
10th play of this drive, 4:14 to go. Dalton steps up, it's a draw, and he's in! Touchdown, Andy Dalton! The first rushing touchdown of his career, and the Bengals are an extra point away from tying it up at 20.
Great play call by Jay Gruden, the offensive coordinator of the Bengals. He's just going to drop back and find a spot. Marcel Darius sees it before anybody else does, but Dalton picks his spot and weaves into the end zone. Great. It's a safe call. It's an unexpected call, and sometimes in the red area, that's all you need.
Nugent to tie the game. It's good. 4:09 to go in the 4th quarter. Buffalo 20, Cincinnati 20 on CBS. Yards of offense. Through the first 3 games, they averaged 300 yards of offense. Nugent kicks it away in a 20-20 tie. And the Bills will start at the 20-yard line. Tomorrow on CBS, a revenge killer is on the loose. Billy Baldwin guest stars on a high-flying new episode of Hawaii Five-0. Tomorrow, only CBS. Andy Dalton had 2 interceptions in the first half, but he has a passing touchdown and now a rushing touchdown in the second half, and we're tied at 20. The Bills came back against the Raiders in week 2. They came back against the Patriots last week. They have never trailed in this game, but they're tied. And here comes more of that Fitz magic. At least that's what the Bills are hoping for. On 1st and 10, Fitzpatrick has it caught over the middle. David Nelson. And quickly, Buffalo has a first down.
And this is what they did on their last drive that was stalled after the controversial 3rd down drop by Stevie Johnson. They came back, they're spreading the football field, letting Fitzpatrick stand back there, pick the guy that's open, and just getting 5, 7, 12 yards per pass completion. We'll see if they can keep up that pace and stay on the field for this drive.
Milking the clock, 3:30 to go. On 1st and 10, Fitzpatrick rifles it to Donald Jones, who's tackled immediately at the 39-yard line by Leon Hall. Don't forget, coming up, time permitting after the game, the NFL Today update presented by Verizon. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. 7-yard gain, 2nd and 3 for Buffalo. Less than 3 minutes to play. Remember, Bills have 2 timeouts. They lost a timeout on the failed challenge. Fred Jackson tripped up. Ray Maualuga got back there for Cincinnati.
Well, we knew coming into this game that the Bills at 3-0 and the Bengals at 1-2 were pretty evenly matched, particularly since the strength of the Bengals was the defense and the strength of the Buffalo Bills was their offense. Both teams coming into this game ranked 3rd overall in the National Football League, and that's been about what it is. The Bills' ability to stay on the field has been really challenged by that defense of the Bengals, and now at this crucial juncture, it still looks like a stalemate.
3rd down and 5, and a timeout called for by Cincinnati. That's their first timeout of the second half.
And that was, I think that timeout was a function of the fact that there's 2:07 left in the 4th quarter, and they want to start conserving time in case the Bills do get a chance, have to punt this football away, or if they get the football back, do the Cincinnati Bengals, they want time for Andrew Dalton to try and get down for their own field goal.
Ryan Lindell's career long is 56. 2009, he did it against the Miami Dolphins. His long this season is 42.
Yeah, and that means the Bills have to get about 25 yards.
Chris Hairston is still in at left tackle. Demetrius Bell remains on the sideline. 3rd down and 5. 5 receivers set for Fitzpatrick. 5 on the play clock. Fitzpatrick steps up. Lets it go, looking for Jackson, who nearly makes an incredible catch, but it's ruled incomplete. And the Cincinnati defense does the job. We've reached the 2-minute warning. Buffalo and Cincinnati tied at 20. Ryan Fitzpatrick had to take a seat on the Bills bench after the Cincinnati defense holds Buffalo, forcing them to punt, and now Andy Dalton will have a chance to lead the Bengals to victory. Mormon having a nice day, averaging 51.6. Tate is back deep for the Bengals. Good kick by Mormon, driving Tate back to the 10-yard line. Gets away from one, and then Brian Scott tackles him at the 18-yard line. A 53-yard punt for Mormon.
Well, it comes down to this. The Bengals have been the better offensive football team in the second half. They put together 3 very impressive drives, the last one ending with Andy Dalton running into the end zone for the Bengals for the tying touchdown. But with 1:48, that has not been the type of offense they put out on the field.
Andy Dalton nearly engineered a come-from-behind win week 2 against Denver. He came up just short in the fourth quarter, losing 24-22. Bills were up 14 at halftime. Now it's tied at 20. Dalton throws on first down. He's got his man. Jerome Simpson moves the chains. Dalton hustles the Bengals to the line. Cincinnati has 2 timeouts remaining. 17-yard gain on first down. This is Brian Leonard on the inside handoff across the 40, tackled by Barnett at the 43-yard line, and the time continues to tick. Mike Nugent's career long is 54 yards.
Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. There's 1:05 and counting. Bills with 6 defensive backs on the football field.
Dalton on 2nd and 3 has it incomplete. In and out of the hands of Brian Leonard. Buffalo Bills, the darlings of the NFL season so far, one of 3 unbeatens at 3-0 coming into the day. Magical wins over the Raiders and the Patriots last week, trying to improve to 4-0 for the first time since 2008. But Cincinnati has played a spirited second half, and Andy Dalton is trying to engineer a come-from-behind win. He faces a 3rd and 3 right here.
Hey!
Dalton chased out by Kyle Williams, dives for the first down, and he's got it. Andy Dalton, who had a rushing touchdown in this half, just rushes for a first down, or did he? It'll depend on the spot.
They spotted it past where the stick was when he dove. They gave him the extension of his drive. You'll see there as it rolls out of bounds. I think you got to give him that spot. They just showed the replay here. You heard the roar from the crowd. They think he got the first down. Now they're going to measure with the sticks that are right there on the same side.
He was chased from behind by fellow rookie Marcel Darius.
It's going to be just short, it looks like.
Inches short, and now decision time for Marvin Lewis.
Well, I don't think there's any decision to be made. I think you got to go for it at this point. You've had a good offensive half. You've got to have confidence that you can pick up a couple of inches, even if you just turn around and hand it on a dive. This Bills defense has been on its heels the entire second half, and this offense for the Bengals has really come to life. But the story of this game has been the Bengals defense. The Bills offense leading the league in scoring coming into this game. The Bengals defense, number 3 overall, has really stood the test against the spread offense and the Ryan Fitzpatrick-led Bills offense. And now Marvin Lewis has asked them to review this.
Lewis can't ask for a challenge inside 2 minutes, so this is an official review.
This came down from upstairs, and he got to that yard line, it looked like, on that replay. You see where the ball hits, right there, and it seems to be on that yard mark. And if you look at the football on the field, you'll see where the ball lands there, and look where they've spotted it in the middle of the football field. that came up just short. You see right there, and it came up less than 6 inches short.
Well, it appears that even if it is short, that Cincinnati is going to go for it, because before the officials came off the field, Andy Dalton and the Cincinnati offense remained on the field, and it appeared that the Bengals were going to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely, no question. But it's different if it's 4th down or 1st down, particularly with 45 seconds on the clock. I mean, this is a big play. Obviously, the entire play selection, the menu that you're going to work from completely changes if you're just trying to pick up the 1st down in this crucial situation.
Andrew Catalon, Steve Tasker with you at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. The Bills jumped out to a 17-3 halftime lead, but the Bengals have come roaring back in the second half as we get another look at it.
And that's right where the ball should be spotted, and no question that they spotted it short of that.
After review, it has been determined that the ball was advanced to the 46-yard line. It will be 1st down in Cincinnati. The clock will stay at 45 seconds.
And there's the move of the football.
So 1st and 10 for the Bengals with 45 seconds to go. They have 2 timeouts remaining. All Ryan Fitzpatrick can do is watch. After the opposing quarterbacks in weeks 2 and 3 watched him move the Bills down the field.
And that's one other aspect, important aspect of that review. If they lose it, it's 4th down. You're still going to go for it, but you only have 1 timeout left. Now they still have 2.
Brian Leonard in the backfield with Dalton. And he dumps it down to Leonard. At midfield, Leonard still going across the 45 and dragged out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Big play for Brian Leonard, the 5th-year player out of Rutgers. 15-yard pickup.
Great play selection. As you see, the offensive line gets way out in front of Leonard as he makes a couple of guys missed and weaves his way out, and crucial to the play, he gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
Mike Nugent hoping to get a chance on the Cincinnati sideline. 1st down and 10. They give it back to Leonard. Across the 35, another Cincinnati 1st down. It was Cedric Benson the entire day for the Bengals, but on this drive, Brian Leonard coming up big. 14-yard gain.
And I think it's the crucial part of what you just said. They don't expect Brian Leonard to get a lot of carries. He's only had 2 carries coming into this game for 15 yards on the season.
And Andy Dalton is going to take this down for 1 play. He calls timeout with 4 seconds to go, and Mike Nugent will come on to attempt a game-winning field goal.
It'll be 48 yards from the far hash.
Actually 42 yards. The ball's at the 25-yard line. So it'll be a 42-yard try from Mike Nugent. His long this season is 47.
Thank you for picking me. My math isn't very good. But this is from outside 40 yards. Now this is into the end of the field where the wind will be at his back. The distance will not be a factor for the Bengals.
Keep in mind, the Bills have 2 timeouts, so they can call one and try to ice Nugent before he kicks. Officially from 43 yards to hand the Bills their 1st loss of the season. And there's the timeout. Nugent will kick it anyway, but Chan Gailey called for the timeout as predicted.
It's a smart move by Nugent too. Him and his holder decided, they said before the kick, they're going to go, they had a conversation, they're going to go ahead and kick this even if they get frozen. This is how the game has gone. The bobbled interception to Scott led to the 1st touchdown. Then Freddie Jackson goes in untouched, and the Bills go into halftime leading by 2 touchdowns, and then the Bengals come out with the great catch by Gresham to get back in it. Then Andrew Dalton runs in for the touchdown that ties it up at 20.
You got to give a lot of credit to Andy Dalton. He threw 2 interceptions in the first half. He has rebounded nicely in the second half. He's thrown for 298 yards on the day. Here's Nugent again.
Nice job by Nugent. They went ahead and kicked that first one. He's already had 1 practice run at this.
Huber is the holder. Clark Harris, the snapper. From 43 yards. Nugent is good. And the Bengals and the Bills, their first loss of the season. The Buffalo Bills cough up a 14-point halftime lead, and Cincinnati comes back to beat Buffalo 23-20.
Well, this will be a particularly bitter pill for the Bills to swallow, being the victim of a 14-point comeback by their opponent when in the last 2 weeks they've been the team to overcome that obstacle.
The Bengals lost their last 2 games by a combined 7 points. They pull out a tight one today and improve their record to 2-2. The Bills drop to 3-1.
Now, this was a well-played football game by both clubs. There was a thought that the Bills might come in and have a letdown after playing so well in the first 3 weeks and having such exciting victories and comebacks. But I don't think that was the case. They played an extremely good defensive club in the Cincinnati Bengals, who also overcame 2 first-half interceptions or 2 turnovers to get back in this game.
A lot of credit to Dalton and Leonard on that final drive for Cincinnati. Once again, the final score, Cincinnati 23, Buffalo 20. Coming up next, game 2 of our doubleheader. The Broncos at the Packers, Patriots against the Raiders, or the Dolphins visit the Chargers. Mike Nugent kicks the game-winning field goal as Cincinnati hands Buffalo its first loss of the season.